This isn't your normal commercial. Last year, Dave started our partnership with CALM, the Campaign Against Living Miserably. And this year, we've taken over our own ad break in celebration of International Friendship Day, and to remind you to be the mate you'd want. It doesn't take much to check in on a mate, just a text or a silly picture, something to show that you're there. In fact, we know that statistically you're probably playing on your phone right now, so no excuses. And while you're doing that, we've asked some of our friends to tell a few jokes about friendship and what it means to them. So here it is, Dave's Comedy Festival of Friendship, in an ad break.
It's important to ask your friends if they're okay though, isn't it? And often you're doing it knowing full well that they aren't, but sometimes it takes you asking for that to be realised. You know they're not okay. Like that time my friend Liv dyed her hair blue with her bare hands and used food colouring to do it.
It's important to have good friends and be able to have open discussions with them to avoid toxic masculinity. I like drinking cocktails, that's right. I find them delicious and I find them scrumptious. And it can be very embarrassing. Oh yes, could I have a rum punch please? And my friends would be like, what did you just ask for? And then I have to keep up appearances to be like, I said can I have a rum before I punch somebody, obviously, loads.
Friendship is a lot like a bra. They come in all shapes and sizes. There's two of you stuck together and it offers a lot of support.
We've all got that one friend we have to introduce to new people with the sentence,
they're okay once you get to know them.
this roughly translates as, they're a bloody horrible human being but no one else will have them so we're stuck with them.
I've always thought that your friends are family you've chosen, and your family are friends you can't get rid of.
For me, a friend is someone that you are happy to be just quiet with. There doesn't always have to be words. I mean, that is better if you are actually in the same room together. It doesn't make for a very interesting telephone conversation.
In case you find all this too distracting, we've allocated some time for you to concentrate on nothing else but texting that mate. Go! Got it? Good. On we go.
Real friends won't judge you when you admit to them that you fancy their dad. And real friends will eventually learn to call you mum after you marry their dad.
Do you want more?
So my best friend has had a lot of different jobs. He used to work in a tiddlywink factory, but he didn't like it, said it was counterproductive.
A friend of mine posted a celebratory happy birthday Instagram of me and her, and I look absolutely amazing and she looks like a foot in a dress. And I think that's the most selfless thing anyone's ever done for me.
When I was first diagnosed as type 1 diabetic, it was quite a difficult time for me and everyone was tiptoeing around me a little bit. But I think true friendship is my mate TANZ. He simply looked me in the eye and said, "Don't worry, Ed. Fruit is nature's candy."
A friend is someone who tells you when you're being an absolute twonk. I've got loads of friends.
Up until that time, I had never been told that I was good looking. I was sitting next to this girl and she looked very haughty and very snobbish. She suddenly whipped around and said, "Do you know something?" And she said it with so much contempt. She said, "You're quite beautiful." And she's still my best friend today, 30 years on.
And you know you've lost an argument with a mate when your argument becomes you just going,
I mean, come on!
Sometimes you can try and be friends with too many people. People who I met once 6 years ago in a bar have now got married and had kids. So not only is my Facebook feed full of strangers, these strangers have got married and are now producing third, younger strangers.
It's scientific fact that your friendship group gets smaller as you get older. When you're 14, you have like 15 best mates. And then a few years later, I've got about one best mate who you only communicate through Facebook, and that's you.
And that's the main thing, just having people around you who understand you. You don't really need loads of friends. I don't want loads of friends. I can barely remember my 2 friends' birthdays and my mum's.
Sometimes being a good friend ain't just liking your friend's Instagram page or comment on his Facebook post. Sometimes being a good friend is you got to really sit down with a dude and talk with him. Do something. Reach out to one of your good friends. See how they're doing.
So that's our time up for this ad break. Thanks for sticking around. Small gestures can make big differences for those going through a hard time. Anything that can show you there for someone who might need that right now. This is Dave and CALM saying be the mate you'd want.